Recording on, we got. I'm a little out of practice. I was out of town last week for a little family road trip. I had to kind of go through my checklist again. We're starting in child's pose today, everybody. Kneel down, one knee at a time. I like to have my toes together and my feet back, or my knees wide, I should say. And I want you to just sink back and relax your head down nice and soft. Stretch the arms out in front of you. Let's take 3 breaths in our first one. I like to go in the nose and out the mouth, but I want you to breathe freely, whatever feels best for you. You can kind of rock the hips and knees side to side as you sink your butt and tailbone back down onto your feet a little deeper with each exhale. 2 more breaths. In the nose and either out the mouth or out the nose is what I encourage. Keep reaching out through those fingers as you move your hips side to side, nice and slow. Let's take 1 more breath. In the nose, keep reaching through those fingers as you move side to side. Bring your head chest forward into cobra or modified plank if you need to stay here. If you can't flex the hips all the way down, reach the head chest tall. Make sure your feet are really flat, legs are flat. And let's start rotating the shoulders now side to side. 3 breaths. Abs are in tight. Squeeze your glutes in as you twist the shoulders side to side in our cobra. Again, this is too much. You can just come back to plank. You don't need to flex the hips too much. Sometimes the low back just depends on how you're built, your structure, what kind of degenerative issues you have. Low back doesn't like extension, doesn't like this big angle. That's okay. Lessen the angle. 2 more breaths. Keep them going. We are rocking those shoulders side to side, getting that spine moving around real good. Head chest up, abs in, squeezing the glutes. Let's go 1 more breath with our little shoulder twists here and take it back to our child's pose. Here we go. Sink it back, getting a little bit deeper. 3 breaths. Stretch the arms out a little bit further. Push your chest down towards your mat. And let's move those hips and knees side to side as you're reaching out through the fingers. These little movements make such a big difference, I think. As we get into these poses, get familiar with them, get familiar with where you're feeling the stretch, how you can move that stretch around. The body awareness is key. 1 more breath. Good. Head chest forward into cobra or modified plank, which would be this position. Flex the hips all the way down into high cobra if that feels okay on your low back. Here we go. 3 breaths as we move the shoulders side to side. Keep them going. Nice big twist through the shoulders. Legs are dead. We got all the weight on the arms as we move, squeezing the glutes in. 1 more breath. Good. Come to table pose. Drop down to your elbows. So we're in table pose and we just drop down the elbows. I want you to put your hands together like you're going to give somebody a clap. Bring your forehead all the way down to your mat, and I want you to push your butt back towards your heels as low as you can without letting your elbows move. And as you push your chest down, you should start feeling a nice stretch in the lats. So we're pressing those elbows firmly. We're pushing the chest towards the floor, bringing the head down. Now I want you to take your hands as close behind your head and as close to your upper back as you can. 3 breaths. Butts in the air. We're pushing the chest down, bringing the shoulder blades together, and really, really trying to push that butt back without letting the elbows move. And you're going to pull your hands to your upper back as far behind your head as you can. 2 more breaths. You should feel a nice stretch. Triceps and the lats where they tie in right behind the kind of the armpit and shoulder area. In the nose, either out the mouth or out the nose, whichever feels better for you. Pull the shoulder blades together, push your chest down for 1 more breath. And good. Okay, come to table pose, guys. Cat and cow is where we go next. I always have cat and cow somewhere in these sequences. Really great for spine health. I say that all the time. When we're in our cat and cow table pose, When we go to cat, I want you to tuck your chin, look at your belly button. I want you to draw your stomach, your abs in and up, round your shoulders, arch your back as high to the sky as you can. Push into your mat with your hands and squeeze your glutes in. Tuck the hips. When we go to cow, on your breath, do the exact opposite. Lift the head high, pull the shoulder blades back, and extend your spine down as low as you can without bending your elbows. Here we go, up to cat, a little higher. Squeeze your abs in and up. Release to cow. Use your breath. Everything is with the breath. Here we go, up to cat. We want fluid, precise movements with the breath, keeping that mind-body connection the whole time. Release to cow. Let's do 2 more, just for good measure. Keep trying to get higher and lower. Up to cat. Draw the abs in, round the shoulders, arch the back, high as you can. And release to cow. Extend the spine, pull the shoulder blades back, lift the head high as you can. 1 more time of each. Here we go. Last cat. Squeeze the abs in, round the shoulders, arch the back, high as you can. Push into your mat. And release to cow. We're going to go into a quick modified downward facing dog. Extend your arms out in front of you as far as you can, wider than your shoulders. Open your hands as wide as you can. Spread the fingers, reach out through your fingers. Bring your forehead all the way down to your mat. Now we got nice straight line through the spine and arms right now, hopefully, or close to. I want you to push your chest towards your mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. As you reach out through the fingers, I want you to try to push your butt back towards your heels without letting your hands move. The butt is going to stay in the air. What a great stretch. 3 breaths. Press your hands really firmly into the floor. You'll feel that stretch intensify through the chest a little bit more, front of the shoulders, upper back. 2 breaths. Still trying to push back towards the heels without letting the hands move. 1 more breath in our modified down dog. And we're going to take it up a notch. Okay, come to table pose. Wanted to give the wrist, shoulders a little break there. Step the feet back to full prone plank position. Dive the head down. And I call these heel presses or knee walks. We're going to stretch Achilles tendons, soleus, calf complex, hamstring attachment below the knee. And all I'm doing is I'm turning my hips in with my bent knee as I press the opposite straight leg heel towards the floor. Use your breath. I'm just doing about 3 to 5 second sequences. I'm inhaling as I twist, exhaling as I press the heel. Modify as needed. You can take 1 knee to the floor and just do 1 heel press at a time, but we're going to bring it down in 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring the knees down softly. Step your left leg back straight. We're going to cross the right leg under to pigeon. We're going to stretch the posterior hip, glutes, piriformis. Cross that right leg under. And remember, the more parallel your shin bone is to the top edge of your mat, the bigger the stretch you're going to get. Don't roll to your side. We want to stay square over the shin or hip. And then we're going to slide that left leg back as straight as you can. You should start feeling that stretch, outer right glute hip. If you feel you can take it lower, fold into your mat. Reach the arms out in front of you. Lay into the stretch, into the pose as deep as you can. Always okay to stay up here if you're already getting a big stretch. Nothing past an 8 of discomfort when we stretch. Mild to moderate discomfort is okay. Extreme discomfort or pain is not okay. 2 breaths. Give it some time, 20 to 30 seconds minimum before you get any benefit from a stretch. And that is why I like to do this kind of 3 breath sequence or 3 breath sort of tempo with my stretches. Gives us a little time. Let the stretch do its thing. And it keeps that mind-body connection stronger. Let's take one more breath. Work through your sticking points on those exhales. All right, guys, bring the hands under the shoulders if you're folded all the way down. Put your weight on your hands. Bring your back knee off the floor. Step the right leg back. Heel presses. Here we go. Turning the knees in, pressing the opposite heel towards the floor. It shouldn't quite be able to touch. Find a position that you're comfortable with here. You can be a little more flat if you need to be. You can be in a little bit more of a down dog position. Whatever you feel good with on your arms to press those heels back. This is one of my favorite stretches. Posterior chain, the Achilles tendon, soleus, calves, hamstrings, erector spinae, all those deep longitudinal muscles, they're called, in the back of the body are usually the biggest problem area for people. They get really tight, overactive. Let's do two more. One more time. Turn the hips in. Flatten your back out. Let the knees come down softly with control. Step your right leg back straight. Cross the left leg under to pigeon. Hopefully you got a little better view of that. If you're not familiar with pigeon, get a little better view on this side. So don't roll to your side. And again, you should feel that stretch. Outer left glute hip of that left leg we have crossed under. Stay up here on the hands. If you need less of a stretch, if you can start putting some weight into it, fold down, stretch the arms out in front of you. 3 breaths. It's not going to change. 3 breaths. We're going to get a little more dynamic, a little more fluid after this. We're starting to get things stretched, relaxed, back where they're supposed to be. That's what this is all about. Maintenance on the body. Movement is medicine. Work down a little deeper on those exhales when you feel ready to. Let's take one more breath into it. And then we're going to take it back into our child's pose, because not only do I like to restore for a minute, weight on the hands, come to table pose, toes together, knees as wide as you can. Let's take it to a frog, actually. Toes together, knees wide, sink it back. So have those knees out as wide as you can with your toes still touching. Bring your chest and head down all the way to your mat or as low as you can, and stretch those arms out in front of you. Keep pushing your butt back onto your feet. 3 breaths. Hopefully getting a little deeper every time we come into these child's pose variations. Big, deep belly breaths. Let's take one more breath to it. Okay, come into table pose. A little more activation coming. So we got the glutes stretched really good. We're gonna get them warmed up a little bit better here. Hip extension or glute kick. You got to keep the knee bent at 90 degrees. Core is in tight always. Just a good habit to practice regardless of what type of exercise you're doing. So we got the core tight. We're going to push the heel towards the ceiling, squeezing your glutes, back of the hips for 3, 2, 1. From our glute kick, we're going to go modified frozen wolf. Knee comes to the chest. We squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hip extension, glute kick, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, frozen wolf. Empty the abdomen, squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. Good. Glute kick. Here we go. Trying to get higher each time. 3, 2, 1. Knee to the chest, frozen wolf. Squeeze the abs. 3, 2, 1. Make sure you're really keeping that knee bent at 90 degrees. As soon as you lessen that angle, you're going to get the hamstrings into it. Here we go. Knee to the chest. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more. Here we go. Kicking high. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Knee into the chest. Slow, controlled, fluid movements. Precision. Here we go. 1 more. Inhale. Last glute kick, press, squeeze, high as you can. 3, 2, 1. Last frozen wolf, abs in tight, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So we just had the right leg up. I want you to extend your left arm forward. We're going to give the wrists a break. Thread the needle through with the right arm. Palm is up, and we're crossing it straight under that left arm. Push your chest down over your shoulder, and you should start feeling a great little stretch on the back of that right shoulder and lat. Shoulder blade, lat insertion, posterior delt. And then we have the head up a bit. We're pushing our chest down as we reach across through those right fingers. I want you to think about twisting and looking to your right. And as you twist and look to your right, as you push your chest down on top of that right shoulder, you should feel that stretch intensify a little bit. 3 breaths. Make sure your legs are in a position where you feel strong and stable. You'll kind of see me moving around a little bit forward and backward, kind of feeling that stretch move around. You just play around with it, thread the needle, stretching the right shoulder blade essentially is where you should feel that stretch. Just keep that in mind. Let's take one more breath. All right, great. Always love that one. Come to table pose. Same sequence. We're going to go into our hip extension or glute kick, left leg, knee bent at 90. Draw the abs in tight, brace the core, squeeze, engage. 3, 2, 1. Knee comes to the chest for a modified frozen wolf. Squeeze the abs. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, use the breath. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Exhale as you bring the knee into the chest. Squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. Keep them going. Here we go. Kicking higher. Squeeze the backside. 3, 2, 1. Knee to the chest. Squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Lifting that heel. Press, press, press. 90 degrees. Exhale. Knee to the chest. Squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. We got 3 more. Here we go. I don't know how I come up with the number. I just kind of go with how I feel. Exhale, knee to the chest, squeeze the abs in. 3, 2, 1. 2 more. We got to keep it even. We don't want to be lopsided. Press the heel, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Draw the abs in on that exhale. Bring the knee forward. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1 more time, guys. Here we go. Kicking the leg high as you can. Big squeeze on the backside. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Bring the knee into the chest. Squeeze the abs. 1 more time. 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's give the wrists, shoulders a break. Put the right hand forward. We're threading the needle through with the left hand. And again, if you're not familiar with this pose, I hope you're getting a little better view now. Palm is up. We're pushing our chest down on top of that left shoulder as we reach through those left fingers. Right hand is forward, anywhere that helps you feel comfortable and stable to twist and look to your left. And you should kind of be able to tell what's going on here. As you twist and look to your left, we're getting some good rotation of thoracic spine, and we're getting leverage on the elbow of that left arm when we twist, and that is our anchor point for the stretch on that left shoulder blade. Posterior delt where the lat ties in. 2 more breaths. And I have some good news. When we finish this one, we're going to get off the knees. I failed to mention, I try to remember, we spent a lot of time on the knees in this class. If you're at home and you're on like your tile floor and you only have a little yoga mat underneath, that's not good. We got to change that. Kneeling on hard surfaces, even if you have a yoga mat, will lead to knee bursitis for many people. That's not good because that's a really tough thing to deal with. Last breath. Okay, good. Push yourself back. Come to table pose. Any way you can. Just have a seat on your butt. Swing your legs out in front of you. Maybe you're like me. You just got so into it. You're off your mat. Find yourself back to your mat. Whew. We're going to start in a cross-legged forward fold. We're off the knees now. Cross your right leg over top of your left. So we have that right leg stacked on top of that left knee. It's going to provide a little weight and assistance to keep that knee straight. Sit up as tall as you can. Take a big breath in, a little kind of start to sun salutation. So sorry, let me fix my music. I just got a call and it messed it up. Here we go. Sit up tall, in the nose, reach as high as you can to the sky. Take a nice big breath in, and on your exhale, forward, fold, reach to the toes, fold to your knees. 3 breaths. Here we go. 3 breaths. In the nose, out the mouth or nose, as you fold a little deeper towards the knees. Keep them going. 2 more breaths. There we go. Sorry about that. It's the only disadvantage of using your cell phone for your music. 1 more breath. Use really big stretch on those left hamstrings, even the IT band a little bit. Last breath. Good. Unroll the spine back. Let's go right to the other side. Cross the left leg right over top of that right leg. We're going to use that weight to press that right leg down really flat. Sit up as tall as you can. Reach the crown of your head to your ceiling. Reach up through the fingers. Draw the abs in tight. Big breath in the nose. And on your exhale, go ahead, forward, fold, reach to the toes, fold to the knees. And here is where we are stretching, especially biceps femoris. That's the really big hamstring muscle that's on the kind of outer back side of the thigh. There's 2 hamstring heads, 2 main ones. 90% of the time when I work with somebody, that big bicep femoris that connects kind of the outer backside of the knee is where we get the most tightness. This really kind of isolates that. 2 more breaths. Folding, reaching out through the arms a little deeper, a little further on your exhales. Let's take 1 more breath to it. And you're going to really like the next part. Unroll your spine back. Make sure you have room behind you. We're going to lay flat. If you have the ab strength and your back is okay with it, unroll the spine down 1 vertebrae at a time. And like I very often do in this class, as soon as we get flat, we have an opportunity to just really decompress. Open the whole body up. I want you to bring your arms behind you. I call this good morning stretch. We're reaching down through the toes. We're reaching back through the arms like you just woke up. And you're just stretching the whole body out. 3 breaths on this first one, and then we're going to throw in a cradle, turn it into a little sequence. Abs in tight. Everything is pulling away from the center of the body. Get as long as you can. I used to be 5'10". Now I'm 6'2". 1 more breath. Bring the knees into your chest. Cradle. Get as long as you can. Now get as small as you can. Back to 5'10". Hug the knees into your chest. Squeeze your abs. 3, 2, 1. Take a breath in. Stretch out to good morning. Reaching further each time. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Cradle. Hug. Squeeze the abs. Push your chest to your knees. Getting smaller each time. Here we go. On your breath. Good morning. Open up. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Cradle. Squeeze the abs. Hugging firmer. 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Good morning. Reach it out. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Cradle. Hug and squeeze. 3, 2, 1 more time, guys. Here we go. Last good morning. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. 3, 2, 1. Hug and squeeze. Cradle as small as you can. 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax your head. Put your legs down straight, 1 at a time. We're going to do a hip floss followed by 1 more stretch. So we activated and really stretched the back of the hips. We're going to just warm up the front of the hips now. Hip flexors, quads, hip floss. Bring your right leg off the floor. Lock your knee straight and point your toes. Your toes are going to be what we draw with. Let's start clockwise. Clockwise. Doesn't really matter. I'm saying clockwise. We're going to do both directions, back to back. I learned a long time ago, saying left or right, just do one side right to the other. You can't go wrong. Take the guess out of it. Nice slow circles. You notice I have my right hand kind of underneath my right hip, the back of my right hip. If you want to do that, I certainly encourage it. What we're doing is we're exploring the full range of our hip joint, that ball socket joint. There are a ton of ligaments. In fact, I believe the hips contain the most ligaments of any joint in the body, and they're very dense ligaments. So if you get kind of grinding, crunching, catching, and it's uncomfortable, I want you to do smaller circles. You can do as small of a circle as you want, or as big of a circle as you want. Keep yourself comfortable. 3, 2, and last one around. When you come to the bottom, let's go opposite direction, opposite direction. And I know you're getting a burn right now. You're feeling those quads and hip flexors fired up. That's okay. Break when needed. We're going to go single lying hip twist to restore and stretch in about 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take that right knee over the hip, bent at 90 degrees. Put your right arm out to your side with your palm up. Take your left hand to the outside of that right knee to guide it over to the left in our single lying hip twist pose. Take it slow. It's a big stretch. Not uncommon to get a nice adjustment in the low back. Turn your head, look down your right arm. Make sure that right shoulder stays anchored. That's our leverage point. Every stretch has a leverage point. A spot of the body that needs to stay stationary. That's our right shoulder here. Left leg is down straight, somewhat in line with the body, as straight as you can get it. Let's take 2 more breaths. Great stretch. Push through your right hip into the low back. Let's just take 1 more breath into it. Come back to center. Extend your right leg down straight. Bring your left leg up for hip floss. Take it slow. Here we go. I'm starting counterclockwise, but it does not matter. Whichever direction you want. Start with a small circle if you're not sure. And then build the circles up as you go through them based on how you feel, how your hip is doing with it. And again, no gravity, no momentum. We're fluid, we're precise, we're moving with our breath. I'm kind of inhaling as I round up, exhaling as I round out and down into that tougher portion. Let's just do a few more. I'm trying to do about 10 total, doesn't have to be exact. 3, and again, modify as needed. 2, 1 more time around. When you get to the bottom of your circle, switch directions. Here we go. Opposite direction with your hip floss. Nice and slow. Locking the knee. We're trying to get the hip flexors, quads, all the muscles in the front of the hip and thigh activated. That means we're going to get them burning a little bit. We're going to wake them up. Use that breath. Inhale, round up. Exhale, round down. Let's do 3 more, and then we're stretching. 2. 1 more time around, guys. When you get to the bottom of your hip floss circle, bring that knee 90 degrees over your hip. Take your right hand, left arm out to your side, palm up, turn your head. Take that knee over. Oh, I just lost my mic pack. Oh, well. Take it slow. Each side of the body is different. Each day is different. Everything we do affects the mechanics of our body, how we sleep, how much we sit, how we sit. You know, I have to remind myself all the time. I drive a lot. I operate a mobile service here in Southwest Florida, so I'm in the car throughout the day, and I tend to always lean onto my center console, my armrest, and that's just how I sit. And that's the side that I have all my problems with. I'm sure it's not coincidence. It's a compensation. You know, I'm leaning over there because it makes me comfortable, and I have to work that right hip. And so these are all things we have to be aware of and we have to work on. especially as we age. One more breath. And we're going to go into our final cool down, a little Shavasana. Okay, bring that left knee back over the hip. Bring your right knee up to join it one time. Let's hug them down as firmly as you can. Let's massage the back and spine a little bit side to side. 3 breaths before we go to corpse pose. Hug those knees as firmly as you can. So your tailbone lifts up a bit, nice neutral spine. Just take a few deep breaths, massage that back out. One more breath before we go into our corpse pose for a little restoring, a little reflecting. Go ahead and extend your legs down straight one at a time so that your toes are pointing out and your heels are in. And then just relax your arms to your sides with your palms up. Close your eyes. Let's take 5 of the longest, deepest belly breaths you can. All the way in the nose, all the way either out the mouth or out the nose. Keep them going. 4 more. Everything's getting heavier with each exhale. 3 more. 2 more deep belly breaths, longer, slower. Every bit in, every bit out. 1 more time. Big belly breath. Once you let all that air out, before you open your eyes, just bring your arms behind you 1 more time. Start waking up. Good morning stretch. Reach back through the fingers, down through the toes. Open the whole body up. On your breath, open up your eyes. Sit yourself up any way you can or like. If you can sit yourself right up. And that is where we're going to have to stop our Yogalates flow today. Let me come pause our recording in case you all want to do that one again. I liked that one, a little different. And I appreciate the heck out of you guys coming and doing this with me. Let me turn